Great news, folks. If you were hoping that the Federal Reserve would be cutting interest rates, perhaps in an emergency meeting, you got the headline that you were waiting for this morning. According to Twitter and other announcements, the Fed has announced an emergency board meeting for today at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, which equates to 8:30 a.m. Pacific. Now, when you see the headline emergency meeting, emergency board meeting, you might be thinking this is abnormal. I mean, who would have normal emergency meetings? But again, as somebody who has been watching the Fed for years, these emergency meetings are actually, frankly, very common. They likely equate to nothing. I will agree that this emergency board meeting, again, occurring in about 1 hour, likely will cover important topics. They perhaps will discuss rate cuts. They certainly will discuss tariffs, likely inflation. I suspect one of the things that will be going on in this meeting is they will be collecting feedback. One of the things that undoubtedly has happened since Wednesday afternoon, is the Fed and their districts have been collecting feedback from businesses. And I suspect one of the things that will be going on is they will be sharing the collective knowledge that they've collected across the 18 districts. I think the goal of this meeting, this emergency meeting, besides probably tinkering with, overnight rates or whatnot, might be to get the collective Fed on the same page as opposed to waiting until their May meeting. So again, this emergency board meeting is probably nothing to do about nothing. It might just be a way that they can all get together at a defined time and share what they are hearing. I do not believe that we will see an announcement today of congratulations, President Trump. We have given you an emergency 50 basis point cut to ease what is going on with tariffs. I know a lot of people are hopeful for that, but I do not see that coming. And again, the announcement of emergency board meeting is not unusual. It's actually quite common. I would estimate it happens 5 to 6 times a year, every year, whether the market's doing nothing or the market is chaotic. So there you go. Collecting a lot of feedback about what's going on. Some folks been on the channel, like the one and only Joseph Wang, Fed Guy 12 on Twitter. He is pretty certain, I think it's fair to say, that the Fed will pivot to accommodative long before Trump pivots. So again, some people are talking about a game of chicken. And according to Joseph Wang, the Fed will be the one to blink or get out of the way as Trump stays steadfast on what he is trying to accomplish. Andrew Wang never wanted to step away from being critical, says Trump tariffs will go down in infamy as the dumbest economic move ever made. Ouch. Andrew Wang, certainly not a fan. I don't know if you've seen the stock market in the first 60 minutes, but it was down big. It actually flipped positive and now is down big again. The thing that caught my attention was actually the 10-year note. If you guys remember, on Friday, the 10-year note visited, I think, 3.91. I believe it closed the day at 4. It is actually up. It too has been moving. The highest increase, or the high of the day as of yet, it was up 16 basis points, which again is a historic, likely 2 or 3 standard deviation move for an hour. The bond market interest rates don't typically move that fast. Again, this will certainly ripple through to mortgage rates. You could expect mortgage rates to go up today. Las Vegas Review, excellent article I read, or excellent, I don't know, news. It's not really a newspaper, but whatever. News articles talking about the Trump tariffs already impacting commercial real estate. The article does go on to say it's not impacting residential yet, but commercial industry is already seeing rising prices of 10 to 15%, as a lot of the commercial industries, at least in Vegas, import steel and aluminum from Mexico. So again, if you are doing that, you will be paying more. So they are seeing 10 to 15% increase in cost already. And the party, as you know, has just started. We were talking about circuit breakers Sunday morning, and I told you I'd do some research. So the S&P 500, if the index goes down 7%, the market will be closed or halted for 15 minutes. I should say halted for 15 minutes. Once reopened, if it goes down 13%, it will then again be halted for 15 minutes. The market will simply close for the day if the third and final circuit breaker are hit, and that is a downdraft of 20%. So those are the circuit breakers for the S&P 500, basically indicating that we will not see a 22% downdraft like we did on Black Monday. Billionaire investor Leon Cooperman says, buckle up. The bottom is not in yet. Also goes on to say that tariffs are a mistake. One of the things that I did see, I think it was Jim Cramer of all people, right? The Cramer effect. Jim Cramer, I think it was Jim Cramer, Sunday night talked about basically trying to say the bottom's not in until we get the response from Europe, right? Will Europe go China's route and hit us with tariffs, or will Europe negotiate, a la Vietnam, for example? Which I think is interesting. Again, I think we will hear sometime this week what EU's, European Union's strategy will be. So that should be interesting. Chris Ropke, chief economist, says that margin calls are going out as we speak. One of the things that you and I have undoubtedly learned when there are big moves in the market, big downdrafts, there is likely a or multiple funds caught on the wrong side. Perhaps they were levered long, they had calls, it's gone bad, and now they are indiscriminately selling to raise cash. Again, people talked about on Friday at the close, people were selling indiscriminately. They were selling gold and crypto and just everything to raise cash. Margin calls likely went out. CNBC CEO survey, interestingly enough, went out basically asking questions about tariffs. The one notable I took from that survey was 1/3, 33%, 1/3 of CEOs expect to have job cuts because of tariffs. I don't know if I buy that, maybe. I do think that this earnings season is going to be interesting. Again, a lot of people have been talking about taking the multiple from, I think, 2022 to 18. Lots of people are talking about taking the collective earnings per share from 260 to 230. It is going to be interesting where we go with that. But first, let's congratulate some people. First, let me apologize. Angela, you sent me a note, I want to say 2, possibly 3 weeks ago, when I was on my trip in Asia. I didn't have my cards, and then I didn't follow up. So shame on me. Angela, here is your golden ticket. Congrats for getting your first deal. I'm proud of you. Thank you for being a part of school. Thank you for being a part of One Rental at a Time. Angela, congratulations. And we got another one. Renee, congratulations for getting your first deal and getting your golden ticket. Folks, don't forget, this is the year of the investor, right? You can get your first deal. Make sure it's a great deal. Don't pay list price. Get a great yield. Also, I expect a lot of you to get these black cards, right? Golden tickets are for first deals. Black cards are for every deal after that. I do expect folks to get some pretty amazing deals as the buyer's market is here. We are seeing supply build, demand crash, which is the perfect recipe for investors. So I look forward to hearing all of you do some amazing things. Jamie Dimon, let us have it, says tariffs will boost inflation, slow an already weakening economy, and then later in his letter talked about stagflation. being a real possibility. It is, stagflation is looking more and more likely. I have to say, shout out Anna Kelly for bringing stagflation up over a year ago. Peter Navarro, one of Trump's advisors, Peter Navarro, he is clearly, near as I can tell, Peter Navarro is the tariff hawk. Near as I can tell, he is the most aggressive, the most certain, the one pushing for the highest tariffs. This is what Peter Navarro said. He said lots of things. This is the one that I noted. Vietnam going to zero tariffs means nothing. Remember, folks, the announcement on Wednesday, reciprocal tariffs and all of that? It really was a collection of lots of things. Again, Vietnam going to zero tariffs mean nothing to the U.S. It's the non-tariff cheating that matters. Now, there's lots of ways that they could calculate that. One of the things that says happens with Vietnam is Chinese products are routed via Vietnam. So China tries to get around their tariffs by shipping container ships to Vietnam. They get received in Vietnam. I don't know what happens there. They unpack, repack, change the shipping destination. And bingo, bango, we are getting Chinese goods shipped from Vietnam, ignoring the tariffs. Again, Peter Navarro, that is cheating. And that is what matters. Bill Ackman out with some colorful takes, says America is on the brink of an economic nuclear winter. Folks, let's not forget that Bill Ackman was the gentleman sitting in his penthouse during the pandemic talking about Hilton going to zero and this going to zero and that going to zero. And lo and behold, like 7 seconds later, the guy made billions of dollars shorting the market. So Bill Ackman talking his book. Has Bill Ackman gone short? I mean, anything he says at this point has to be suspect, giving past behavior. Again, America is on the brink of economic nuclear winter. Certainly a scary thesis. But again, he said Hilton would go to zero, and he made $1 billion. So that there is that. Don't forget, folks, we had our school session on Sunday, last Sunday, 8 a.m. I think 15 or 16 folks joined. I didn't count, but feels about the right. We talked for an hour. We had lots of great questions. But I will be doing it again this upcoming Sunday. I will be going live at 8 a.m. Again, it's one of the values I want to put inside school, where you can come ask me anything. We talked about real estate. We talked about YouTube. We could talk about health, books, whatever you like. I am there for you. I'm an open book. Love to talk to you. Love to see you in there. Also had a school accountability group yesterday from Jared. You all talked stocks, 401ks, tariffs, audiobooks, documenting your journey, Section 8, and more. Again, folks, we are doing some amazing things in school. School really is a collection of 350 amazing people going the same way. I am just one of those 350. There are 350 other amazing people. Join school. It's 67 pennies a day. You won't regret it. A couple other things we'll hit before we wrap up today. Oil. I checked oil. I did not check. I guess I could check right now. It doesn't matter. Oil's at or near 60. It was under 60 before. Bitcoin under 78. Again, the 10-year note is now at 4.1. U.S. growth to slow down, recessions, earning cut. It's going to be a messy couple of weeks. JP Morgan is calling for a recession in 2025. And then we'll close with Powell. We have time. The Fed is not in a hurry. Again, I remind you, the Fed emergency meeting, not a thing. Powell's been pretty clear. We have time. The Fed is not in a hurry. Sometimes survey negativity. Sometimes we have survey negativity, but people keep spending. This is the argument between the soft and the hard data. Tariffs tend to reduce growth and raise inflation. We shall see. A year from now, uncertainty should be much better. That was the quote that I actually had to read twice. We got Jerome Powell. We got Jerome Powell saying we're going to go slow. We're going to be certain. We got Trump begging for a rate cut now. And then Powell says a year from now, uncertainty should be much better. Does anybody think we can wait a year with all of this? That was very interesting. And then finally, we face a risk of higher inflation and higher unemployment. higher inflation, and higher unemployment, which is difficult for the Fed to fight. I don't know about you, but that feels like a acknowledgement that the Fed is going to have difficulty with stagflation. One of the worst things that we could have coming up is stagflation take root. That will force the Fed to pick a side. Are they going to fight inflation a la Paul Volcker? Will they fight growth a la Arthur Burns? Folks, it's going to get interesting. Again, I want to go back to the fact that, at least if you are a real estate investor, that 2025 is shaping up to be an amazing year. We want less competition. Check. We want more supply. Check. We want more motivated sellers. Check. We want lower rates. Maybe not. We'll see what we get. Folks, I hope you have an amazing day. Like, subscribe, comment, become part of the channel. We go live 5 days a week at 7:30. I see that 331 people are here today. That might be our biggest day ever. I want to acknowledge all of you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, subscribe, comment. We will talk to you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Pacific. Peace.